or the same. Yeah. So when we become aware that it won't last, that each of us who is sitting here in this hall now, definitely in 100 years from now, they won't even remember us. Especially not me, because I don't have children, so I don't continue. Big deal, eh? So what? Anyway, so me, nobody will remember in 100 years, you know. Oh, it's okay. Also you, probably, not many people, at least not every day. You know, maybe they come to the graveyard, to the cemetery, I think it's called here, to the cemetery, and then they have to look for your grave for about half an hour until they finally find it. I mean, the cemeteries here is like bigger than cities. I mean, it's amazing, isn't it? To find somebody. So you have like GPS already, or not yet?
Yeah.
The number, can you give him the number of the grave? GPS, he finds it? Oh, there you go. Yeah. So like this. So we become aware, so these are the first few steps. I need to know what I want, do I have what I need, and will it last? Yeah, this is what we're going to do today. So now I would like you to take these Losang booklets. By the way, you can keep them and you can take them home with you. That means if you want to make notes, you can make notes. Okay? So that's fine. But maybe if you make notes, put your name, because they all look the same. And then you have to go through all of them, put your name right in the front here, that's fine. Maybe at the bottom, maybe not on the top. You know, it's funny how we always put our name on the top. Maybe put it at the top. If you can. And then we'll look at on page 12, it is called the Foundation of All Good Qualities, because it is a concise manual to this step-by-step practice to become a more inspiring person and to lessen these things that don't inspire neither us nor others. Yeah? So we can read it together if you want, or I just read it and then maybe I say a few short things about what it means. So the foundation of all good qualities is the kind and venerable Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Because with this path is quite dangerous. You cannot go this alone. At the beginning, you don't need a personal guru. But you need somebody, you know, who's not a guru like me, maybe who has practiced for a number of years, has maybe some little results. But it's not too far away also, you know, so we're still all pretty much the same. But I need a guru. If I'm sitting here telling you about the Dharma, I need a guru. Somebody who has taught me, somebody who knows that I'm ready to sit here. Otherwise I would not be sitting here. And also from my side, I would never have thought I would want to teach, you know. I mean, this is it. But then it was like people asked, and I asked my guru, and with the hope that he said, no, you go and practice, you know. He said, yeah, it's okay, you go. So then you get this self-confidence, because with, you know, I rely on my guru with great respect. Why? Because when I follow his instructions, I see that they work. When he stretches my borders, and inside I go, oh no. But I still do it because I respect and trust him. And I see that, wow, this is fast advancing here, you know, getting out of the comfort zone. But I need somebody that I trust so that I do it. Otherwise I stay in my comfort zone, because that's what the guru is for, to kick you out of your comfort zone. So kind of east-west understanding of what a guru is, again, very, very difficult, you know. There's a lot of cultural stuff that goes with it, with guru. This is why, me personally, I feel very uncomfortable when you stand up when I come into the room, because it's not natural for me. Yeah. But why we train you to do this and why I bear it is because you need to be able to do that spontaneously when you have a Tibetan teacher. Because if a Tibetan teacher is here and you're not getting up, in their mind it goes, they're not interested in what I have to say. They don't show respect with their body. Yeah? if you lie down when you're not sick. When you're sick, when you're not well. You see, again, when you're not well and when you are sick, and you have a lot of body pain and you need to move, even to move by getting up, you get up, and that's okay. Because the discipline is not to clench your teeth and not to do what your body needs, because I'm not allowed to do this. But you're not lying down out of laziness. You're not going out and get a cup of tea because you're bored. Do you see what I mean? This is the discipline. The discipline also to do whatever you need to do without feeling embarrassed or whatever. Yeah, if you need to get up, do a few steps, by all means, do it. If you need to lie down because your body, your back pain is so bad, please, by all means, do it, but not unnecessarily. And then when you lie down, it's good to come and tell me why you are lying down, because then I know. And if you want me to tell the group so that they also know and don't get upset because you're lying down, I will tell the group. If you don't want me to tell the group, then I don't tell. In Austria, we have one lady who is 56 and she's dement. But she used to be a nun. And it just kicked in. But she still likes to come to the courses, but sometimes she's really confused. So it's good for the people who participate in the course to know that she's dement, because then they don't start to wonder, what the heck is this woman doing? Wow, she's really not respectful. Look, she's just going in and out. Look, she doesn't know what to do with the text, like this. So it's actually, when you have, also for you yourself, to have the courage to say, I am not well, be it mentally or physically. You know? We used to do in Tushita, when I was in a really bad mood, when I had my, what's it called? These years, you know, as a woman, menopause. When I had my menopause, sometimes I would be in such a foul mood, you know. But I would go down to the office and say, look, today it is better that you're not asking anything that doesn't need to be done today, because I will start defending myself and stupid idea and blah. I said, it's better you just leave me alone, I'm in a foul mood. And just saying that, usually it was gone. Giving yourself the permission to be in a foul mood, it disappears. But consciously giving yourself the permission to be in a foul mood. You know, and then not putting it on other people, it's their fault. So you take responsibility. I'm in a foul mood. That's it. So if you approach me with something that doesn't need to be done, well, I warned you, and that's it. But usually I didn't, then everybody started laughing. So we don't need to be brave and courageous. It does sound strange. It's the strength to show that I'm vulnerable, I'm weak, I have a bad day. But they're not putting the kind of condition, so now you have to be kind to me. Not like this. Just to let people know. And some of them understand that kind, some others are not. You know, so again, so that's that. Yeah? So it's good to say. And it's good also for us, it's good when you have needs. You know, I know that maybe all the managers, when I say these things, their hair go like this. When you have needs, come and tell us, and we try to do something about it. Yeah? Because we would like to make you feel comfortable. But we also have rules. So being comfortable doesn't mean that you don't have to follow the rules that you can follow. Yeah? Okay. Because if you want to work with your mind, you need to be comfortable. Whereas otherwise it's not going to, you know, it will be very difficult, it will be even more difficult than otherwise. So the guru is stretching your borders. For that you need to respect the person. How can you respect a person who teaches you the Dharma? The only way you know what they're supposed to teach. Because otherwise, how can you check whether what they're teaching is right or wrong if you don't know the path? So at the beginning of this path, it's okay. Books, courses like this, teachers like me, you know, I mean, I don't call myself a teacher, people like me. So we start to know the structure of the path. And then you can check if somebody is a good teacher or not. You know, I make people laugh and they think I'm a good teacher. But that's not the sign of a good teacher, to make people laugh. You know, the sign of a good teacher is they can lead you to enlightenment. And they have the courage to also tell you what you need to hear even though you don't like to hear. You know? Because they will tell you what you don't see in you. And then it's like, you know, when you go to the doctor and you haven't noticed that something is just for a checkup, and you haven't noticed anything, and then the doctor says, ooh, you know, this, we really have to do something about this. You might not have noticed it, but we have to catch it at the beginning. You're not upset. You don't feel hurt. Oh, he told me something that I didn't know. Yeah. So if you want to do spiritual practices, it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same thing. Then if you go to the door, it's okay. You know, I saw them. It's okay. Somebody's there. I waved at them. We have visitors, so it's okay. So if you want to do spiritual practices, you have to be able to hear what somebody that you trust has to say without totally rejecting it, and also to see that they're saying this out of compassion, not to hurt you, not to harm you. Same as a doctor who says, hey, you have this kind of sickness. Okay? So that goes with the guru. If you want to progress on this path, if you want to attain what is called full enlightenment, then you need a personal guru, somebody that you trust, and somebody that accepts you as your disciple, as his or her disciple or teacher. Now, if you come to me and say, you know, would you please accept me as your disciple? I say no, because I don't have the qualities of a guru. In the text also that we have here, you can, maybe we even have it. Yeah, but we won't go through it. On page 3, the qualities of a guru. So you see, I'm not subdued by ethics. I'm trying very much. It's page 3, yeah? I am not pacified by single point of concentration. I'm trying very hard, but I'm not there yet. And I desperately haven't understood emptiness. Definitely not, okay? Thoroughly pacified by not grasping at the separate self. I might have a bit more qualities than you have in terms of knowing these things. I do have perseverance, I think. But here the perseverance goes in for you, you know, not my perseverance with myself, but perseverance not to give up on you. Not to say, oh, you're hopeless, go and find somebody else. You know? Like some people do sometimes. Or like as a therapist, sometimes you feel like that. So they wouldn't give up on you. Then skilled speaker, well, I don't know. Realization of emptiness, I don't have. Wealth of scripture, I'm not. Because I'm not very good at reading and studying and stuff like that. And love and equanimity, again, I'm trying. Has given up disappointment. This I have. When people ask me how was the course, I don't even think when the course is finished, it is finished. I'm neither very happy about it or disappointed or whatever. It's like it's another thing you learn. When it's finished, it's finished. If you think it was no good, you think next course I should do this and this better, but that's it. You know, why going back again and again and again and again? So don't ask me at the end, how was the course for you? It's finished. Because then also there's no disappointment. There's no expectation. I'm not on a mission. I'm here to share whatever I know with you. You take it, okay. You don't take it, fine. I don't want to convince anybody of what they don't want to hear. Yeah? Okay, so then you develop respect by seeing the qualities, and you develop devotion by seeing the kindness, how they don't give up on you. Yeah? How you feel really cared for, how you see that they're doing that. They don't have any agenda, these people. They're doing it for you, and that can be quite rough sometimes. Yeah? And then you go, oh, she or he hurt me. They're no kind. They told me what I should change. Right? Okay. And why is that the foundation of this path to full awakening? Because they are a living example of that list over there. And lacking all of these things. And they're human beings. And we need human beings as examples, because if it's only the Buddha, it's nice to visualize the Buddha in the light form and light comes and all this. It's too far away for us. It's too subliminal. You say subliminal for something that is very flimsy? You know, I don't want to call the Buddha flimsy, but very kind of subtle. It's not seeable for us. It's not touchable for us. It's too far away. It's only a Buddha who can see a Buddha as a Buddha. That's why they manifest in human form. So like this, that's why they are the foundation of all good qualities. Because you're inspired. You see that it's possible, so you want to become like that. So then the next one is understanding that this precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once. It's greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly, day and night, takes its essence. So this is this whole thing. We check, do I have what I need? So here it says, understanding that the precious freedom that we have now, of this rebirth, is found only once. It is not found only once. We have had precious human rebirths before where we had to practice the causes to be here. Because you being here, that you saw the website and that you decided to come here, that's just a condition. You having interest in what you read on the website, that is having had contact with this in previous lives. You don't have to believe me, but this is what they would say. And then what happens here with your mind, how you take it, that also depends how you treated these kind of teachings in previous lives. So if you feel a lot of resistance, that means you have had teachings, you have had contact with this, yeah, but it was already no respect and no this and no that, so the mind is not open, and kind of the habits come along, and then also these imprints then ripen in such a way. This is how I do ask people to be respectful towards teachers, towards texts, not because of the teachers, and as I said yesterday, not because of the text, but because of your imprints that you are getting, of your habits that you are developing. And also when you see other religions, please don't criticize them. Because I'm sure if we look deep enough, we find people with these qualities on that side, because they train in their religion, we can find in every religion. Because that is what religion is for. And to abandon these ones. And we have a tendency only to see the ones who practice this. But we don't know where they're standing, you know. We used to have a nun when I started going to Tushita, when I said Tushita, she was so angry, you know. And I was getting also angry at her and said I was just a fresh nun. Saying like, it's impossible, you know, she's been practicing for 25 years. And then somebody said, boy, you should have known her before. So we don't know. You see, especially with the Buddhists, have this very, very heavy responsibility that we should already be a Buddha. When Buddhists behave badly, then it goes like, hey, but they're Buddhists. Because you, learning Buddhism, you want to see perfect Buddhists so that you can be inspired by them, or you have to prove that it works. Well, they can put on an act, you know? We have in all religions people who misbehave and do not practice what they should practice. Also Buddhists. Also high teachers, by the way. So this is why, in order to give your life almost in the hands of somebody else, you need to trust that person. And the trust you get when you know the path. That you see, they have this ability to lead me to enlightenment. And for that, you need to know the path. Do you see what I mean? It's quite a serious thing. Because in Asian culture, you give a lot of power to that person from your side. Yeah? And if that person is not realized, you can get hurt in a very bad way. Yeah? I think it's worse to be abused by a spiritual teacher than to be abused by your parents. So that's why you need to check. Yeah? But if you are at the beginning of the path, you don't need a personal teacher. Okay? The wish for a personal teacher will come as you continue. When you see there's so much to practice, there's so much to do, you know. So then again, if you come and ask me, what should I practice? I don't know. I don't know your propensities. I don't know you well enough. If I know you over the years, maybe this then I can say, if you keep coming to the courses. But if it's your first course and you ask me what should I practice, how should I know? How should I know what your weaknesses are? How should I know where you have enough strength to look at these weaknesses? I would just say, continue to listen to the teachings. That will be your practice. Okay, so understanding that the precious free gnosis is found only once. So it's not found only once, but we should treat it as if it is found only once. So the example is that if you would be, you want to have, you're very poor, and there's a good friend of yours who comes and says, wow, I have the key for where they make money. I managed to get that key. I know how the machine works, and I know how to get in without the alarms going off, but it's only tonight. Again, let alone the ethical thing, it's not such a good example, but you could get what could fulfill all your wishes and absolutely no more financial problems for the rest of your life, and you could help all these people you know that they're also poor. Okay, let's make it a bit Robin Hood kind of style. Would you in the middle of the night say, this is so boring, I'm really tired? At 6 o'clock in the morning you have to be out, otherwise you get caught by the police. Would you, because you have physical tiredness, say at midnight, I want to get out?
Of course not.
Of course not, isn't it? When we know it's found only once, the whole thing has meaning. When we think, the good conditions I have in this life now, I will not have it in my next life, then your life starts to have meaning. When we think, oh, well, I'll do better in my next life. Now I need to have a lot of pleasure. And again, don't think that as a spiritual practitioner, you're not allowed to have pleasure. You need to know the happiness that comes from pleasure. Because otherwise you are too depressed, you cannot listen to these things, and you don't have to wish to have deeper happiness that comes from a calm mind. But the first happiness that we need to know, is the happiness that comes from pleasure. So don't go at the beginning, no, I don't want pleasure, it makes me happy. I'm a spiritual practitioner, everything is suffering. It's not the right understanding. But when you have pleasure and when you're happy, in order to give it meaning, you think, wow, now I'm happy. Now I can practice. Let me practice, I don't know, what shall I practice? Let me practice loving kindness. May all beings have a happy mind. Instead of, wow, now I'm so happy, only me. Open your heart. May all beings experience that mind of happiness. It will double your happiness than just thinking, I am so happy now. It's nice, but it's just you, how many beings are out there? It's amazing, this attitude that we have, We take ourselves so seriously, so important. We're one person. We're constantly concentrated in making one person happy. And out there, and we don't succeed on top of it, but we don't give up. And out there are so many, it would be easier to make them happy actually, than to make ourselves happy, because that's the real happiness, making others happy. Yeah? But no, it's like this obsessive, I want to be happy. So then, when it comes from pleasure, like swimming or eating ice cream or eating whatever, or hiking or playing music or dancing or painting, whatever makes you happy when you do it, whatever makes you go into the present when you do it, that is what is creating happiness. Yeah? Then you share it with others. May all beings have these experiences. Yeah? Then it becomes much wider. When you're not well, when you are depressed, you go like, may all beings be free from depression. unhappiness. Then you see that you're not alone, and then your heart opens again, and then your depression decreases. Yeah, so this is where how we give meaning to life. That we use every moment, that we train ourselves to use every moment to either practice loving kindness, being at this moment of happiness, or compassion, may all beings be free from suffering. Or when you eat an ice cream, the gratitude. Somebody made that ice cream. So many beings involved in putting this fat and this color and this sugar and this milk and this, what else, and the chemicals to enhance the flavor. And then very quickly you're not interested in ice cream anymore. Because it is really not healthy. The pleasure comes from not seeing what ice cream is and what it does for you. If you would see all the ingredients of the ice cream, next to each other, you wouldn't eat one after the other and say, ooh, delicious. And the deliciousness is not in the ice cream, it's in your mind. Because you label it. Ice cream, by nature, delicious. I don't like it. Must be something wrong with me. I don't like ice cream. It's too cold. Why would I eat something that is so freezing cold? Yeah? So it's habits. So it is greatly meaningful. We can make this life meaningful. And again, I always mention him, Viktor Frankl, he's one of yours. And he definitely has suffered more than all of us together. And he definitely didn't spend his life for the rest of what was left of his life when he came out of the Holocaust to complain and be depressed, but he made something out of this situation. He even used the Holocaust to grow. Wow. And it's so inspiring. And so, remember sentences that he said, that he says, mankind can take everything away from you, but your choice of the reaction to the situation. Start to believe that instead of going, poor me, like that. And if somebody who's been in the Holocaust can say that, that everybody can say that. There's no being in the Holocaust. Even if you have relatives who died there. Because you see, the moment we start to cling to these things, then I feel bad because this and this and this happened. Then we stop. Because it happened. We cannot change it. So, giving meaning to your life, you have to find out, what is the meaning of my life? To be depressed about my situation? Or to take it in order to grow? What is the meaning of my life? Just to enjoy my good situation? Or to share it with others? And use it to work more towards gratitude, patience, and all these things. Because, it's okay that you can practice when you are sick, but it's very difficult. And when we are well and happy, we don't want to practice. We don't want to sit down and meditate. We want to go out and have fun and show off. Look how well I am. When we're depressed and not well, then we want to stay home. We're like very bad parents to ourselves who kind of lock the kids in the cupboard when they're naughty and bring them out to parade when they're well behaved. This is what we do to us. Instead of sharing with each other, it's not, we say like when somebody is complaining all the time. But we have moments where we don't feel well, and it's okay to share with others. To have the courage to say, I'm really not well today. Not to put on an act. Showing your vulnerability makes you that's courage. But then again, don't go to the extreme, because we also have these obsessive complainers. And then what we want to do with them, you want to show them that they have a good life, isn't it? Instead of agreeing with them. Start to agree with them, because that's what they see. That's what they experience. You can't see what they see. They can see, they cannot see what you see. So stop trying to make them see what you see. You see? Okay. So whether your life becomes meaningful, there's a saying by the Dalai Lama also, he says, we spend maybe 80,